Hello again. I just walked past the television and I heard one of the Fox News talking heads make reference to a controller, an air traffic controller, being inebriated at the control tower at Springdale Municipal Airport. I think this is an example of irresponsible reporting. As some of you viewers may know, I am a licensed pilot through the Federal Aviation Authority. And I'm familiar with different classifications of airports. Now, one of the things that all pilots know is that airports that have actual control towers have to have two controllers. One for inbound traffic and one for outbound traffic. And I wondered, how is it that a controller at a control tower can be inebriated when there has to be two controllers there at all times? So I went ahead and I took a look at the designation of Springdale Municipal Airport. And it's a Class D airport. Now what that means is they don't have a control tower. They don't have to have a control tower. Some Class D airports have volunteers that are not licensed by the Federal Aviation Authority that monitor a radio. They're called Unicom. So when a pilot flies into one of these uncontrolled airports, he can radio to the Unicom. And if there's someone there, they'll respond. And they'll provide him with current weather information, the direction of landing based on the winds, etc., etc. But it's an uncontrolled airport, not one that requires a Federal Aviation licensed controller. So when Fox News talks about a controller being drunk in the control tower, they're fear-mongering and they're giving improper information. It's not the first time that they've done that. Now, I said that it's a FAA requirement to have two controllers in controlled airspace, like a Class C or Class B airport. That doesn't always happen. I remember of a horrific accident. I believe, if I'm recalling correctly, it was in Kentucky. And it was at a controlled airport, a Class C airport, which required two control towers. And it was an early morning commuter flight. I believe there was like 55 or 57 souls on board. And the airport had two runways. And one runway was in excess of 5,000 feet, and the other one was relatively short. Now, for those of you that don't know what the numbers on a runway mean, those numbers are the magnetic direction of that runway. In other words, if you see 22, that's 220 degrees magnetic, or 22 degrees magnetic. The point is that what tends to happen is controllers, again, are responsible for the direction of flight. When a pilot starts his aircraft at a controlled airport, he has to contact ground control. And then they will, once he's in communication with them, provide him with the latest information, which he has to pick up first if the airport is set up the way it should be. And then he has to let the ground controller know that he has the latest information. This is before he moves his airplane. Then the controller will monitor him to the run-up area. And then he has to contact the tower. And then the tower will let him know as to whether or not he can cross over to the threshold onto the active runway. And then he'll discuss the departure of flight. So everyone in the vicinity on that frequency knows what that aircraft intends to do, whether it'll be a straight out departure, a right crosswind departure, a right base downwind departure. That adds tremendous safety. What happened in this particular case, there was only one controller, and he cleared the pilot to take off on the wrong runway. In that particular accident, the co-pilot was at the controls. When you line up on a runway, you're supposed to look at your directional gyro and make sure that it matches your compass. For example, if it says 22, you look at your compass. It should also say 22, which should be the designation marked on that runway. That isn't what happened. The aircraft started its roll on a very short runway. It ran out of runway before it could get airborne. The only one that survived was the co-pilot, and he lost, I believe, one or both of his legs. So again, safety's built in, doesn't always work, as in this particular case. But I think it's wrong of Fox News to say that a controller in a Tower airport was drunk. Springdale Municipal, the designator for Springdale Municipal is KASG. And I'll attach a link that'll clearly define it as a Class D airspace. I hope this helps people understand the safety measures that are built in to aviation. They don't always work, but they do work most of the time. And for Fox News not to have done their research before they go on air, I think is wrong. You might want to let them know what I just told you. I hope you take the time to listen to it.